Hi, we'll be talking about how ageism affects kids. Ageism is, of course, like all the goddamn isms, and it's to be discriminated against just because of your age. Young, old, doesn't matter. And I have experienced a lot of it. I'm 19. I will be 20 in January, so a little soon. Very excited. Young adult. I got some credentials. Obviously, I've spent most of my life in hospitals. Growing up, I was talked down to a lot and treated like I wasn't conscious. The difference between a loving, caring talk and a very condescending talk. And I have so many memories of me being like 6, sitting in the patient's chair, and we're talking about a major surgery I'm about to have and what it's going to entail, what the healing process will be like, all the above. And the whole time I'm sitting there, the doctors or nurses all collectively refused to even look at me. And they would be talking to my mom. And they would be like, yeah, she's going to be under for this amount of time. This is what we're going to be doing when we're under. This is how she's probably going to feel when she wakes up. Blah, 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 blah. I'm over here. The one having the surgery? Yeah. And I've mentioned before how I was a feisty child. When these situations would happen, I would get very angry and start being like, hi, you know I'm alive, right? When I would do this, the nurses or doctors' heads looked like they were about to explode. And I'm like, yeah, can you tell me about my surgery? And you could see their brain malfunctioning. Like they could not fathom it. And either people would laugh in my face and go, oh, okay, sweetie, and continue to talk to my mother. Or they would actually respect it and go, oh, okay, and then start talking to me and explaining things to me. And like a conscious human being, I would respond. And this happened like every visit. This was a very regular thing, and thankfully some of the nurses and doctors that saw me regularly were part of my teams. They learned this very quickly. They actually talked to me like a human being. It really pissed me off a lot of my childhood. This is something I used to talk about a lot. It never made me sad. It just always made me very, very angry. But it wasn't just like when I was 6. Even when I was 13, I think, about that time, I went to get electrical therapy. It's like this machine, and it shoots electrical waves through your body or specific parts of your body to help with pain. And like this elastic tape, which you would put on a certain part, and then it would like hold the pressure off of your spine or wherever you need it. A lot of athletes use it. So that's what the consultation was for, to get those things tested out and see if those helped or if I wanted to give them a try. And I remember the whole time I'm just getting so angry, and I bite my tongue a lot of times because I know it's sad that I have to tell myself this, but growing up I was like, they're all, they're in work mode, they're a little bit not always fully aware of people. But this lady was really pissing me off because she, a couple people will go in between. They'll be like, oh, yes, sweetie. Then talk to my mom. Then do this. She, didn't even say a word to me. Like, not a fucking word. And she was then showing my mom the tape. She's, talking to my mom. She's like, okay, you're going to apply it this way. Put it on her, da-da-da. And my mom even, she's all for me, setting up for myself, but she was in, girl, calm the fuck down. But I was pissed. I was like, I can do that myself. And, but, in a very upset tone. And the lady's like, huh? And I'm like, yeah, I can put that on. It's my body. And then I also told her, because of my Marfans, my arms can go the which way. I'm fine to put it on myself. All these things I'm going to be doing by myself. Show me how to do it. And all of them always have this deer in headlights look when I even speak. But this woman looked either like she found out about consciousness or about she was gonna cry. I don't really know which one, but she ended up talking to me and actually showing me how the damn thing works. That interaction just boils my blood because I was like, yeah, it annoys me, it frustrates me, but for the people that can't stand up for themselves, I can only imagine how sad and angry those people feel when they're just talked to like they're not even in the room. And there are a lot of factors that go into why I've always been treated this way, but the main reason is ageism, because they just couldn't comprehend that because I was so young and such in a extreme situation, they kind of assume that you're not fully there, which is very fucking rude. Like, you don't just gain consciousness when you turn 18. Trauma is a thing for a reason. No, but people just assume that because you're young, that you aren't there, or don't comprehend things, or don't feel things, or don't think about things, or like adult situations. You know, a kid wouldn't think about that. A kid doesn't need to be worried about that. Doesn't worry about that. That's adult things. No, a kid absolutely can worry about adult things if they're presented adult situations, and especially when it's your own body and you're the one going through the surgeries and having all this happen around you. You're in it. You're the one going through it, and talking to little kids like they have absolutely no idea what's happening to them doesn't help them. They're not stupid. To be honest, I still experience it a lot less, but nowadays I experience it like, I don't even know what this stage is, because it's like they respect you, you're like an adult, but they still don't trust you fully, so they'll like test you when you're talking. They'll be like, are you good? Can you handle this conversation? Do you actually have a backbone? You're good? Okay, yeah, no, we're talking to you like an adult now. And I'm like, what is this weird in between? But another factor of having ageism with health is people not believing that you are in pain. I have chronic pain, and I'm also fully aware that the way I look is another factor why people don't necessarily believe me, and the way I act, because I prefer not to show it. A lot of time, other than, you know, doctors being like, are you sure you're sure you're not faking it, or are you just trying to get out of school? And I'm like, no, I'm homeschooled. Can you please shut the fuck up? But other people, like friends or work, definitely don't believe you. Unless you are absolutely bound, stripped to a wheelchair, people just assume that you're totally fine. And friends I've had in the past, definitely not my friends anymore, that just really can't comprehend somebody, one, experiencing things I have, but also the pain that I feel. My girl, I have the body of a 55-year-old. I can't do what you do. And they're like, what? I think I'm being dramatic, or just don't want to do something, or trying to get attention. I'm like, I wish. I think the biggest thing is with work, and I'm not speaking on any specifically. I have a great job, love my job. When I tell them I have chronic pain and I'm disabled, they don't believe you. And they'll think you're lazy or making it up or so on. And they're like, you're 19, okay? I'm sure you cannot have as much back pain as me. I'm like, girl, you don't know what fucking back pain is. And then it makes your reputation look like ass, because they'll like think you're making up. And it's hard because there are some people of all ages that make up illnesses and they make up pain for excuses, but there's like nothing I can do about it. And like, if I was a 50-year-old 40-year-old lady and I told this woman I have extreme back pain, I'm disabled, I went through all this, they would not question it for a second. But because I'm young, they question it. And again, I get that it's just a cultural shock and people just not thinking outside of themselves, and oh well. But not fun. Another one is medications, which it's such a hard thing for me to talk about because I understand why medications are such a difficult thing to regulate for people, but it also, from my experiences, has been such a horrendous time that I have to just go off of mine because I know that a lot of people have had horrific experiences with getting medication. A lot of these issues that I have faced with medication is because I was under 18. Now, I've been on all sorts of medications, I've done all sorts of things, like, they're needed. I'm having these major surgeries, and when it comes to my back surgeries, I'm like 14, 15, and one of the back surgeries, already they barely gave me any when I woke up, like medication. When I went home, they didn't give me any medication for it. No pain pills, nothing for having my entire back redone. That time was, I don't remember it, it was absolutely horrendous. And thankfully, the next time I had a back surgery, I told my assistant doctor, I don't know which one, I talked to so many people, lady in charge I was talking to at the time, and I was like, yeah, can you please give me pain pills to go home with? And she's like, well, yeah, what do you mean? And I'm like, oh, well, last surgery, nobody gave me any medication. She started crying. Like her eyes were watering because she felt like you could see the soul leave her body. She's like, I am so sorry. So she's like, absolutely, I'm making sure you have pills this time. And I'm like, thank you, appreciate it. You literally just had back surgery last night. You are in that bed. They wake you up every goddamn hour. And if you're like, hey, I think I'm gonna die, can I please have medication? They'll go, are you sure you really need it? Are you really experiencing pain? Do you want to do half of your medication? Maybe we could try half and see if you still hurt, and then, maybe we can go from there. I just, want to make sure you actually need it. Bitch, if you don't give me fucking drugs, every surgery I'm like, oh, what's the recovery time? How long am I going to be in pain? And they're like, oh, you'll be good. You shouldn't feel any pain. What? Big portion for all this, just assuming I can't feel pain, and then doing absolutely everything possible to not give me any pain medication for having my entire back redone, is because I was like 13, 14, and they are so scared of like drugs with kids. Oh my god, not drugs, opioids, like medication, legal medication. It's not healthy, and like, addiction. I'm like, yeah, no shit. But the day after, kiss my ass. I'm dying. What is wrong with you people? And if medication was like this for everybody, I think I would feel differently, because if it's like just the regulations for medication, what are you gonna do? But I am fully aware that they hand that shit out like candy for adults. You have one fucking boo-boo, here's some Vicodin. Like, what? I feel like the fucking adults would be more prone to addiction because they can actually go get it. What's the fucking 8-year-old gonna do? Go run to the drugstore? I mean, some 8-year-olds. But like, come the fuck on. I fought medication my whole life. Like, until I was like 12, I still refused to take like Dayquil when I was sick. Okay, like, I hated medication. I'm not on medication right now, like other than ibuprofen, Tylenol. I used to be a Vicodin. I got off of it. I felt it was better for me. And like, so I'm like, I'm not like pro like take drugs. But the weird letting kids just be in pain and treating them like they did something wrong because they're in pain is where I'm like, why are we doing this? Because I also know there are a lot of people that have had this of like, you just got hit by a truck, you just had surgery, you just all this. Okay, any medication? And they're like, I know your arm just fell off, but are you sure you really need it? And that's something that, I really wish that people would get better about. Like, don't send them home with a fucking chocolate factory. But like, if they're in a hospital bed and they just woke up, give them medication, please. Oh my gosh. So they don't believe you when you tell them something's wrong. It's not like a bone popped out or something. I could just feel it. I know my body. I know when something's wrong, or my pain, obviously. I feel like I'm gonna die. And I go to the doctors, I'm like, something's wrong. They do like an outward scan, check your body, whatever. I'm like, no, you look totally fine. You're good. I'm like, no, something's wrong. I finally do an x-ray and they're like, oh, that screw might be out of place. And I know that isn't just like with young people. I know that kind of happens with everyone, but it's definitely, if you're an adult, they'll push it harder. But if you're a kid, they'll assume you're just making it up. And like, it doesn't affect me much now because obviously I'm an adult. But I still feel bad, of course, for the kids that experience it still and are too scared to stand up, or it's not appropriate in their family to do that. They don't have a voice or feel like they can't have a voice. And there are plenty of amazing, respectful doctors, but these doctors and helpful people can still be assholes or bad people. And just because they're in a higher rank-ish, I don't fucking know, doesn't mean you have to agree with everything they say or how they talk to you. But yeah, and I think that's also a part of the reason I want to work so badly with children, other than fucking loving children. I want to be the adult that actually talks to them like a human being so badly, or at least not in a condescending way, like a normal soul. It's just a little soul. But yeah, if you have experienced any of this shit, I'm really sorry, and I hope it doesn't happen anymore. And if it does, just get sassy. It works every time. Thank you for listening and watching. Bye.